Okay, so we are going to get started with our winter tree. What I'm using are oil pastels. I have a black and a white. If you don't have oil pastels, that is okay. You could always use crayons for this. This would work just as well. Or you could even use a black permanent marker. That would work well too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a winter tree, just like some of the ones that we looked at. I'm just going to take my time. I'm just going to draw the branches first, and then I'm going to go in and thicken up some of the branches to make it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, maybe that has a few on it. Maybe that comes off this way. And now I can start thickening up my tree. It's going to be a little bit thicker on the bottom, and I'm going to color it in. Again, if you don't have an oil pastel, I know a lot of you don't, that's okay. You can use a crayon. If you don't have a black crayon, use a permanent marker. That'll work well too. Make my tree a little thicker in some spots. Make it a little thicker towards the trunk of the tree. But there's really no wrong way to do this because trees are all different shapes and sizes. When we create art like this and it's all filled in with black, we call this a silhouette. This would be a silhouette of a tree. I like to think of it kind of like a shadow. So there's my tree, and now I'm going to use my white oil pastel. Again, if you don't have oil pastel, just use crayons. If you don't have crayons, you can just outline the bottom snow floor with Sharpie. Improvise, that is okay. So I'm coloring in all my snow on the floor. Okay, and now I'm going to pretend like there's been some snow that has fallen on my branches. So I only want to put a little bit of snow on top of my branches. Just on top. I know we don't get snow here where we live, but if you've ever been to the mountains after it snows, you'll see the snow on top of the branches. Okay? All right, I think that's going to be pretty good. And the next step you're going to do is add your watercolor. So watch what happens. We're going to use, I think I'm going to just use blues for this. Just do a nice little coat of blue. And the cool thing about your oil pastels is, maybe I'll mix some purple in there. That might look neat. Oh yeah. The cool thing about the oil pastels is they resist the water. And they show through, which I really like. No wrong way to do this. If you don't have watercolors where you're at today, use markers and add some water to that. And now for the final touch, I like to sprinkle, I know this sounds crazy, and this is optional, you don't have to do it, but I like to sprinkle some salt. Watch what happens. When I sprinkle the salt and let it dry, it's going to create a beautiful, I'm going to add some more water up here. It has to be nice and wet. Creates a snowflake look. And so once that dries, these are all going to look like little snowflakes around my tree, and it's going to look really cool.